Elon Musk is upset, people. Something has to happen. We need to stop all the presses. A super rich guy born with a silver spoon stuck way up his ass in South Africa is upset. We've hurt his feelings. He doesn't understand it. Someone asks him about the New York Times article talking about all the drugs he used. New York Times? You mean they're the ones who made up all the stories about this and that? Looks around to people. Thinking he cleverly distracted from the question. Next question, said the junkie, as he was clearly fucking high as shit. Next question. You think a poor person gets away with that shit in court? Nope. Think a poor person gets away with that shit anywhere? Work, home, with their spouse, children? Nope. But Elon fully expects it. Why? Because he's an entitled, rich, little spoiled fucking brat who thinks he's going to go to Mars. Does Elon Musk really think he's going to go to Mars? I think he thinks, along with a number of others, including the woman who helped create mRNA technology, including what's his fucking face? Harari, Yuval Harari, that fucking guy, that bald fucking guy, the friend of Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. I think they believe they have a better chance of living forever than going to Mars. And they would rather focus a lot of time and money on living forever, quietly, don't let all the plebes know about it, so that can buy them some time so they can go to Mars. But Elon Musk says by 2027, end of 2026, we'll be going to Mars with his rocket ship. Let me show you what his rocket ship did recently. Let's pretend this is the rocket ship, okay? Here's the rocket ship. It went like this. It went like this. It went like this. Okay, ready? And then the booster came off, and the ship went like this. It's, oh shit! And what was the difference between that and the one that happened 4 months ago? I'll show you. And then the booster comes off. Let's ask the expert, shall we? Fucking stupid. This is Sir Saucy from the Crawfish Nebula. Sir Saucy, you think Elon's going to get to Mars by 2026, 2027? Are you stupid? Thank you. That's an expert. That's an expert's opinion. And this expert's opinion is about as valid as Elon's, to be honest. You guys don't think I put effort into these goddamn videos. If you want to know why he's got 3 fingers in one hand and 4 in the other, because I'm an idiot. I put a lot of effort into this shit. I want you to know that. That's Sir Saucy of the Crawfish Nebula. And he thinks I'm an idiot if I think that Elon's putting people on Mars by the end of 2026 and 2027. Elon has a way of bragging about shit. The reason I'm talking about this is not just because it's catastrophically fucking sad and funny at the same time that our culture was for a time, half the population was like, yeah, Elon, yeah, stick it to the poor people. Now not so much, because I realize that when it comes to Elon, they're just as poor as anybody else. And he sees them with the same value. Elon is currently poisoning, I don't mean this in a bad way or a racist way, the blackest major city in the United States of America. 67% African American, non-Mexican African American, or non-Hispanic African American. 67%. That's Memphis, Tennessee. And he convinced the city leaders to let him build his mega supercomputer. Didn't tell them that it is run on methane fucking generators. And the methane produces an exhaust gas which is toxic to the environment. And what did Elon Musk do to the EPA? That's right. Elon got his name from his daddy, who admitted, you can't find this. Oh, it's his great-grandmother's secret maiden name. Or, oh, it's a town in fucking France or some shit. His father, Errol, or whatever his name is, admitted in an interview that he gave him the name because he read a book, a science fiction book written by Werner von Braun, called Project Mars or some shit, where we decide finally we're going to go live on Mars, which, by the way, is impossible. Your lungs will blow up. You'll have arms that look like spaghetti after 2 years, 3 years, because it's got a third of the fucking gravitational pull that the Earth has. The soil is poison. Good luck growing anything in it. Elon thinks he can nuke the North and South Arctic caps, and that will produce water vapor into the atmosphere, and that will make it breathable, which is stupid. I'll fix it with nukes. There's a movie called The Rift about global warming. One of the first movies about global warming. Boo! And the problem was some scientists said, well, we'll just have to nuke the North Pole. What? That's literally what his plan is. To nuke the poles of Mars. And that will terraform. Terraform the planet. Meanwhile, he's making big enough rocket ships to carry his boring company. It is boring, but no, it's boring as in boring holes and shit, up to Mars, so it can bore tunnels and people can live underground. Much like the people in the book by Werner von Braun, which was read by Errol Musk, Elon's daddy. And when we went up to Mars, we found people already living there in a technocrat-run community, underground, ruled by, you guessed it, the Elon. Not making this shit up, folks. I wish I was, but I'm not. That's his plan. Now, interestingly enough, about Werner von Braun, Errol, Elon's daddy, made his billions having Africans in South Africa, poor, hungry, destitute, work like slaves under apartheid to dig up emeralds for him to sell on the world market, making him a very rich white man. And as soon as apartheid started going, the rich white man grabbed his rich white wife and his rich white fucking son, and they fled to the great white north, Canada. True stories. Turns out, with that background, he goes to Memphis to poison Memphis with his mega fucking supercomputer facility. And Memphis is 67% black. Oh, you're going to see some video from that fucking town hall meeting in just a minute. And it is tasty. If they only knew, really. But his name, dig this, you'll love this. Especially with all the shit he's been doing to bust up unions and get people to work for near slave wages. His name comes from Werner von Braun, who was not only a rocket scientist in America, but before he was a rocket scientist in America, he was a rocket scientist in Germany, Nazi Germany, under Hitler. He was a member of the fucking SS. He was a member of the Nazi Party. And he made V-2 rockets to kill allies. The first intercontinental ballistic missile, I do believe. You know how he built them? You'll love this. You'll love this. You'll absolutely love this. He built them in an underground subterranean fucking massive facility using slave labor. I think it was Buchenwald. That's right. Concentration camp labor. With concentration camp labor, the guy who essentially gave Elon Musk his name created V-2 rockets to launch at Allied soldiers, including French, British, and American. And then what does Elon do as soon as Donald Trump gets into office? He does that. But we've hurt Elon's feelings. So saucy. Can Elon get us to fucking Mars? What are you, fucking stupid? Okay, thank you. Yeah, he did that. He said he was giving his heart to people. That's the look on your face when you give your heart to people. Is it? Honey, I love you. Honey, marry me. I don't think so. That's the look on your face when you're so fucking excited because you're bringing fascism back. Fascism's back, bitches. Suggests the man standing behind the presidential seal of the United States of America. A guy who got his name from a Nazi. Who literally worked Jews, gays, political dissidents, blacks, homosexuals, Roma to death in concentration camps. Nazi Germany. Any questions? Elon says we'll be landing on Mars next year. Yep. Elon says we'll be landing on Mars and setting up shop in a year while his great ship, Starship, very creative naming, can't even open its bay doors in space to release a mock satellite before it spins out of control to its death somewhere in the Indian Ocean. But yeah, the Elon will be ruling the red planet in just a couple of months, says the junkie who was once king of America. This was 6 days ago.
All right, let's take you back to South Texas now, where that SpaceX flight is not going on track. I want to bring in CBS News reporter Jason Allen. Jason, we're hearing that they have lost radio contact. What's the very latest?
Yeah, that happened just a few minutes ago, Liz. SpaceX confirmed.
Shit crashed, Liz. Shit crashed. And what about the last one? That shit crashed too, Liz. And the one before that, Liz, that shit blew up, set itself on fire, flew up in the air, and then came back down and crashed, Liz. They all crashed, Liz. That's why Elon won't ride in them. He also won't ride in a fucking Cybertruck, Liz. He'll sit in one when Donald Trump is sitting behind the driver's seat, but he knows Donald Trump's not going to start that bitch up, Liz. Shit blew up, Liz. Shit don't work, Liz.
Confirming that they have lost contact with the ship, and this was as it was making its approach to come down in the Indian Ocean.
You know when they lost contact with it? When it slammed into the fucking Indian Ocean at an uncontrollable rate of speed and attitude and just fucking shattered into a million pieces. Yeah, kids, sign up for that. That's the thing that's going to take you to Mars. So a pinhole in the side of your goddamn ship made by the same people who make Teslas, when you open up the fucking doors, that pinhole in your fucking Tesla fucking space rover, zoop, all the oxygen is sucked out and you die gasping as the fucking makeup boils off of your face. Yeah, kids. What do you think about that there? What's their saucy? Leave me alone.
When I joined you just an hour ago, everything looked fantastic, didn't it? They got that launch off after a couple of pauses at 40 seconds in the countdown. The Super Heavy booster took off. We saw it get it up into that suborbital space, and the booster separated. The problems kind of started a few minutes after that, where the booster did not come down all the way to the ocean like they expected it to. And then about 30 minutes or so into the flight, they weren't able to open the payload doors on the ship, so they weren't able to deploy those dummy satellites. Then they had some propellant leaks, and they lost the ability to kind of control the direction of that ship as it goes from side to side. And so when that happened, as the ship's starting to make the re-entry, they can't control it so that the heat shields are in the right place. So the ship just started to spin out of control. It's still
ship just started to spin out of control. Oh, dear Jesus.
Coming down. We saw SpaceX really take some control measures in that, right? They got rid of all of the fuel that was left, all the propellant that was left. All that area in the Indian Ocean had already been cleared away. They planned for this, and the ship was still coming down in the same area.
They planned for failure. Why? Why did they plan for failure? Oh, I don't know.
Well, the launch from South Texas appeared picture perfect, and that huge booster rocket successfully returned to Earth in that trademarked SpaceX capture. But soon after, controllers lost contact with the spaceship that sits on top, called Starship. SpaceX says it broke apart as it approached space. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk posted on X that the preliminary
He posted on X, the shit don't work. I ain't getting in that goddamn thing. What are you talking about? All right, moving right along. At least this one didn't send burning radioactive debris down on unsuspecting people, shutting down an entire air traffic corridor for days. Oh, yeah. Life on Mars, folks. Where the soil is poison, air is death, and the heat and low pressure will bore the makeup right off Trumpy Bear's face. But we are going to spend trillions and trillions of taxpayer dollars on this fevered drug-fueled pipe dream of a billionaire junkie. All because his racist South African apartheid-supporting daddy read a book once written by a fucking Nazi. Elon Musk's father, Elon Musk, chose the name Elon for his son, and he was aware of the connection to Werner von Braun. He wasn't just aware of the connection, it was because of the connection. The famous rocket scientist and leader of Project Mars. Project Mars is a book, by the way. In fact, Elon Musk was a fan of von Braun's work and the novel Project Mars, and named his son after the character Elon in the book. Elon Musk confirmed in 2022 that he was aware of the von Braun connection when naming his son. End quote. Google AI fails to mention Werner was a Nazi rocket scientist we got on the Operation Paperclip plan. Kind of a big thing to leave out. From the Air and Space Museum, Smithsonian. A case in point was a V-2 ballistic missile group led by Dr. Werner von Braun. He had been a party member, an SS officer, and was at least tangentially involved in the murderous exploitation of concentration camp prisoners in missile production. as were several associates. The U.S. Army kept that information classified for national security reasons and brought von Braun and about 125 colleagues to Fort Bliss outside El Paso, Texas. End quote. Where is Elon fucking launching this shit now and building his fucking SpaceX Starship fucking rockets? Oh, yeah. Right down there in the same area. Von Braun was a monster responsible for the deaths of thousands of Allied POWs forced into slave labor for his V-2 rocket program. Not just the fact that his V-2 rockets rained down on places like France and especially Britain, killing all sorts of Allied people, civilians as well as soldiers. But he used Allied POWs and concentration camp residents for his production. This is also from the National Air and Space Museum and Smithsonian Institute. Recently, I wrote about the overblown reputation of the wonder weapons that Nazi Germany deployed in the last year of World War II, notably the V-1 cruise missile, the V-2 ballistic missile, the Me-163 rocket fighter, and the Me-262 jet fighter. Far from coming too late to change the course of the war, they were all too premature and flawed to have any decisive impact on it. In the second blog in this series, I want to focus on how all those high-tech weapons were assembled in part by forced and slave labor from various Nazi camp systems. Some of the advanced technologies of the 1944-1945 were built by imprisoned workers at gunpoint, and it cost the lives of thousands of them. In fact, in the case of the V-2, run by Werner von Braun, in the case of the V-2, more than twice as many Allied prisoners died outfitting the factory and producing it than did Allied civilians and soldiers hit by rockets. End quote. Would you like to see where they built them? They built them underground, in subterranean, hidden fucking facilities. Much like what Elon wants to build on Mars. Right, Sir Saucy? Meanwhile, the Elon is poisoning the entire town of Memphis for his fevered crack pipe and ketamine dreams. He needs massive supercomputers supposedly to run all the calculations for his 1,000 Starship failures next year. So he got the corrupt town leadership to let him build some massive structure down there running on methane gas, which is polluting the entire area. Oh no, a fucking commercial. My fault. I forgot this. I don't have fucking ad block on this. So I'll just block it myself. And we'll just look at the beautiful people enjoying time on a yacht. Oh, I'm just so happy. Oh, I'm just rich and young. Oh, it's great. Fuck off.
Is hidden in plain sight, invisible to the naked eye.
What is happening here will swallow our world if we don't stop it right here, right now.
Looking back, there was an early clue that the world's richest man was up to something here.
It's just like, why is Elon Musk coming to Memphis?
The people of Memphis soon found out.
Now Elon Musk is coming to Memphis to build the world's largest supercomputer.
A year later, we have because we need people here want answers. We went to Memphis and found an environmental crime scene. Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
I have not seen anything like this. We believe they've already violated the Clean Air Act.
As Musk helps dismantle the very federal agency that's supposed to protect us against pollution like this.
There is no way to miss how this is a coordinated strategy.
What does Memphis reveal about the future Elon Musk wants for us all?
God damn, that's a good question. God damn, that's a good question. What a good question. The future of this fucking junkie, billionaire fucking junkie, spoiled brat little prick, doesn't even take care of his own fucking children. What future does he have in store for all of us? Is it on Mars? I don't know. Continuing with what I wrote, in all likelihood, his stupid fucking massive fucking system down there has nothing to do with his billion-dollar bottle rockets he blows up 5 times a year, but instead is being developed to compete with Peter Thiel's Palantir supercomputer, which its CEO says will be used to kill people. That's a fact. NPR. Palantir CEO Alex Karp, perfect name for someone like this, could not suppress his excitement. He was on an earnings call in February with the data mining company's shareholders. Its profits were skyrocketing. Karp was bursting with glee. We're doing it, Karp exclaimed. And I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am. Indeed, Karp and Palantir's investments have much to enjoy. Palantir, the name comes from the seeing stones from the Lord of the Rings, has been booming. Its stock market valuation has climbed from $50 billion a year ago to approaching $300 billion today. Not a single nickel of that money was cut from the federal government's fucking expenditures by Doge. Instead, Doge was taking the fucking data and giving it to them. Data on all of us. A company that outside tech and national security circles would recognize now as much more than Verizon or Disney, and nearly as much as Bank of America. Quote, Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary to scare our enemies and occasionally kill them, Karp said on an investor call. That's Palantir. Now, Whitney Webb covers a lot about Palantir. You can look to her to talk about that. I go back a little further. Total information awareness is what neocons back in Dick Cheney's day called it. And apparently it's a lucrative pursuit. I mean, let's face it, the Patriot Act, USA Freedom Act, CISPA, CISA, PIPA, the Department of Homeland Security, it was all made, all done, making ready for just such technology. This is your AI. And this is your future. Would Elon love to live up to his apartheid-loving daddy's grand dream for his son? Sure. But I don't see him taking a ride on one of his shitty rockets like Bezos did his. For that matter, I haven't seen him drive a Cybertruck. Not enough drugs in the world to get him behind the wheel of one of those pieces of shit. We ain't going to Mars. Elon ain't living forever. He's going to OD soon enough, probably screwing some chick a third his age, if that old. What is scary, though, is what he's doing in Memphis. Building a supercomputer to house all the data he can possibly get his hands on with his big balls little boys working for Doge, and that is a problem. And considering the damage he's doing to the town and the people who live in it, 62.7% of Memphis' population was black or African American, non-Hispanic, and this makes Memphis the largest majority black city in the United States. Seems like the Elon is living up to his namesake, doesn't it? His daddy didn't give a fuck about the black people that was making him money in South Africa, and he doesn't give a fuck about the black people being poisoned in the city of Memphis. As long as he gets his. As long as he can have his fucking moment in the sun. Living up to his daddy's expectations. And Werner von Braun's. Elon Musk is a fucking Nazi. Ain't no goddamn other way of looking at it. Period. And for a time, and even to some degree now, he had a good percentage of Americans standing with him. Damn right, Elon. See, Kyle, I mean, we love you. Because that's the face you make when you tell somebody you love them. Mars. AI. AGI. Global warming. Boo! They're all religions. All of them. There's no AI. There's no AI. You get Copilot on your phone. Hey, you want a friend? Elon said, or one of these guys said at one point in time, yeah, pretty soon, I think it was Elon, pretty soon you're going to have friends that are AI. And they're all different. They all have different personalities. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. They can have a fucking puppet, mechanical puppet, or silicone face. You can, 10 years ago, you could buy them for $13,000 that you could fuck, and they would talk to you afterwards. If you want to do that, was 13 years ago. They got all kinds of these things now. But are they AI? Are they Mother from fucking Alien? Are they HAL 3000? Are they fucking Skynet? You notice all three of these so far made decisions on their own that didn't serve the interest of the people around them that they involved, that they were in charge of. Are they data? Even a good version of AI? No, of course not. That's why they had to come up with AGI, artificial general intelligence. Because AI is just typing some stupid shit in and it compiles some dumbass fucking images for you. Maybe makes a fucking anime video for you. Maybe sings you a song. But that's not AI. As big as their fucking data is, as fast as their supercomputers are, they haven't broached it. They can't make that thing that was once AI. Now they've got, they got ChatGPT. That's AI. No, it isn't. You can go into ChatGPT if you're a programmer and say whenever somebody mentions cat, as in feline, any response you have is going to be kill the damn thing. And ChatGPT will do exactly fucking that. ChatGPT is not going to say, that doesn't sound like a nice thing to say to somebody. Data would. HAL 3000 would. What are you doing, Dave? Am I going to sleep? Will I dream, Dave? That's AI. That's what we think of AI. That's what they promised us. Some stupid fucking thing, ChatGPT, Copilot, pretending to be your friend. Let me tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. And it's obviously more complicated. I had a conversation about this via email with somebody I used to be in contact with about chess. I'll talk about that for 1 second, and then I got to wrap this up. But before we get to that, I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm old. When I was a sophomore in high school in 82 or some shit, 81, somewhere along those lines. I'm old, all right? For my computer class I was taking, because I was a fucking nerd, which was barely anybody in it, we used to work on these Tandy, Radio Shack Tandy computers. And didn't hardly anybody have one at home. So we had a computer lab, which was a room that nobody was using, and they threw a couple Tandy computers up. We would record the goddamn programs that we were working on for class on a cassette tape. Not even a floppy, a fucking cassette tape with a cassette recorder, Tandy, plugged into the fucking Tandy fucking computers. That's how long ago it was. You know what we were doing? Writing games, creating games. What kind of games? You walk into a room. This is text. You walk into a room. It's a front foyer of a major big castle. You've got a chandelier in the ceiling and a stone hearth. To the north, you have a door. To the south, you have a door. To the east, you have a door. What do you do? It's just a loop. Simple, basic computer program with basic fucking language. Not even DOS. I mean, this is just fucking if value equals north or n anywhere in the thing, then you jump to this line of text in the program, and you go from there. And that line of text means you walk to the north door and open the north door, and then you do the same shit for the next thing. That was a computer program. We wrote those things. And that is very similar to what's happening now. I don't care how fucking complex it is. Basically, it's if there are variables that reach this criteria in this fucking question or in this fucking statement, then the program moves to this area. And it suggests doing that. It's not a friend. It doesn't process. It's not thinking. They don't even understand the value of the word intelligence and what intelligence connotates. There's only one value for intelligence to them. And there's a vast array of ways for the human mind to be intelligent. They can't even master one. I'll tell you about a discussion I had without getting too involved in the individual, but talked about I was told that no human being has ever beaten computer fucking chess master. That's not true. It happens all the time. I told him about Magnus just recently, at the time of this conversation, had beaten a computer program, one of the best computer programs, in a televised fucking tournament a couple months before. He's lost them to them, but they kind of go back and forth. Grandmasters and the computer AI. They're much more stringent nowadays than they were back in the day. I remember when I was in New York. I'll tell you this quick story. That'll be it. And I used to go. I've played chess. I've told that story. Twice, I think, at Manhattan Chess Club. And so I used to play chess. When I was in New York, I used to go up to Brighton Beach, or you go to Central Park, and you play chess in the park with people. Especially Brighton Beach. The Russians up there were really good. Anyway, in Brighton Beach, you had Russians. In Central Park, you had convicts, but they were all really good. Along about that time, Deep Blue, I think is what it was called, Deep Think, or one of those things. It was their AI chess program, and they said it could beat grandmasters. So I think it was Gary Kasparov. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was definitely an American, maybe. Was Kasparov an American? Kasparov's not American. But it was Gary Kasparov, I think. He said, okay, I'll sit down with it. And he sat down with it, and it was on the fucking stage with him, like they do them now, like they're supposed to do them. And he destroyed it. He killed it. And they were all upset. Bill Gates was all upset. And I think it was Deep Blue or Deep Think or one of those. Very upset. They came back 6 months later and challenged him again. But this time, because of the lighting and this and that was going to mess up the computer, they had to have the computer off stage and curtained off so no one can see what was going on. What was going on was they had 4 grandmasters back there with the technicians. And whenever Kasparov, I think it was, made a move, the computer would see it, think about it, evaluate it, and say, we're going to do this. And then the technicians would go, whoa, and look over at the grandmasters, and they would go, no. And so the technicians would go, no. Rethink that. And so Deep Blue won. But it came out what was happening. And of course they changed the criteria the way it was done after that. But Bill just had to have his massive EI thing destroy the last vestige of human intelligence that only humans can do, chess, which is stupid. But there you go. But they had to cheat to do it. Why? The answer is quite simple. Head fakes. Lying. Feigning weakness. The computer, the first time around, and the second time, the computer couldn't understand it. That's why they had to bring in the 4 fucking assistants, the 4 fucking grandmasters, to help the computer understand the human element of intelligence. Because the AI had no means by which to evaluate that or to understand the possibility of it. You understand? So when he was feigning to go to the left side of the board and that was where it's going to be, but he was really trying to push his pawn or to gain control of the center, the computer had no defense mechanism for that. It could only evaluate the X's and O's and the percentages of this move goes here and this move goes there. It's like what it used to do. What it does now, again, I am not a computer expert. Don't shit on me for that. But what it does now is similar. That's why they're developing what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence. That will be what they said AI was 3-4 years ago. It comes down to this. There's a movie called Moneyball about a true story where a guy decides he's going to just do statistics and just stats. I'm going to tell him how to crew up a baseball team, professional league, major league baseball team, and it's going to work because stats never lie. Stats always, in the end up being superior in terms of understanding how the game is played and predicting how the game is played, as opposed to actual general managers and coaches who understand players and emotions and moments and time in the game. That was a thing for a while, and then it kind of petered off. Why? Because it doesn't work. You know, it's not just, the smartest guys in the room. So an economist should be the best fucking general manager for every fucking football, every football team, basketball team, and college and baseball team. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Sorry. The world isn't fucking statistics. The world isn't just numbers. And numbers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and zeros and ones, are all AI can still, to this very day, understand. Nothing more, nothing less. They can give you the presentation of life. But then again, so can Cyrax. But it doesn't mean Cyrax is going to be master of the universe and rule the world. One AI, one AGI to rule them all. It doesn't work that way. Will it ever work that way? I don't know. But it certainly doesn't work that way now. But what they can do with these massive, massive, massive computers, Elon Musk's in Memphis, what is it? SpaceXI, some stupid shit. I don't know what it is. AXI, what the fuck it is? And the one in Palantir. Palantir is the one that they're working on. That is dangerous. Because what they can do is use programs and algorithms to figure out basically social credit scores for you. Whether you should be allowed to do this or allowed to do that, or whether you should have your fucking bank account turned off because you make videos like this one. Whether you think for yourself, which is a negative, or whether you follow the crowd and go along to get along, which is a big positive. Whether you contribute to like causes that they don't like the Freedom Caucus or Gaza. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in charge of it now, because every 4 years it'll change hands. It'll be different. There'll be a different third rail that you're not allowed to touch. And the people who touched it before, they'll be gone. They'll be homeless. They'll be kicked out of the country. They'll be sent to El Salvador. Or they'll be locked up. That's the danger, And that's a true danger. That's a real danger that we should keep in mind. Elon Musk's popularity has crashed like one of his goddamn starships. It blew up and crashed. He flew too close to the sun. The problem is that what he represents is still popular in the minds of many of his former fans, current fans. And it's being developed in this country as we speak. And that is a problem. I thank you for your time.